Nice and big.
Morning everyone, you join me on the 19th of April and quite a chilly start actually for the recent conditions. It said 3 degrees on the car and the frost light was on. It's meant to get up to about 12-13 degrees today, quite calm, cloudy conditions. So I've got 2 rods out as bottom baits at the moment, but I'm planning on getting them on the surface later on if possible. I was up here last week, did a few hours on the surface, pretty tricky session, but I did manage a couple which I'll show you now. So I'm hoping I can get them feeding once again on the top, because that is my preferred method when it gets a bit warmer. But as I said, I put a couple of bottom baits out. The right rod I just flicked out to some bubbling fish early on, and the left one I just put out mid-water with a little bag on. So hopefully they'll go off, but as it starts to warm up I'm going to trickle in some dog biscuits and see if we can get them taken on the top. It's been a couple of hours now, it's just coming up 9 o'clock. I've finally got a bit of sun in my swim. It's been pretty damn cold this morning. I've already been putting out quite a lot of mixers. I've fed off probably about 8 ducks, a swan, a couple of seagulls, and they've stopped bothering me now, and I've already had some fish coming up taking mixers. So I've set the surface rod up. I'm going to bring both rods back in that are on the bottom and put one of them just down the margin as a banker rod, and then start surface fishing. But I'm going to get them feeding a bit more confidently first. Just to talk through the setup I've got on this rod. I've got a Shimano bait runner on a 12-foot 2 3/4 pound test curve rod, and then I've got a bolt machine to about a 4 maybe 5 foot hook link with a trimmed down key cray on a size 10 hook. That's what I caught a couple of fish on last time I was up here, so I'm going to stick with the same thing. And I've also just got a little bit of Vaseline and rubbed that along the line, and although I'm using floating line, it just makes sure that it stays on the surface a lot longer and doesn't sink at all. And I top that up every sort of 5 or 6 casts just to make sure that the line isn't sinking and getting in the fish's way. So I'm going to get that rod out soon, but I'm going to get them feeding a bit more confidently first. But like I said, now this sun's just come up over the hill, it's a lot warmer. It was about 3 degrees this morning on the car, and I sat in the shade, it was freezing. So hopefully I'm going to warm up a bit, the fish will enjoy a bit of sunshine, and we'll get a food. Proving very hard to get them feeding. I've had a few come up, take the odd biscuit, and as I said, I walked up and down trying to get them feeding, nothing. I did have one start taking little biscuits just in front, the ones that drifted in, and they started taking them, but he soon drifted off as soon as I put a rod in. So we've got a bit of ripple now as well, so I've just added a load of really fishy, oily stuff to the biscuits. Flipped them out and it made a bit of a flat spot, and almost instantly I had 2 fish feeding. They've since gone as the sun's gone in, but I keep on feeding these biscuits. Not going to put a rod in until they're feeding confidently, and see if this brings them on the feed a bit more. Well, I've been here since 6, it's now about 1 o'clock, so you do the math. It's taken far too long, but the bolt machine left out there with a little trim down pop-up on it has finally gone off. About 4 foot hook link and this little common. Nailed it on the bolt machine, like I said, and just whizzed off. And yeah, I was just having my lunch and then checking my phone when it went off. So it paid off just to leave it drifting around with the other biscuits. Not a monster, but lovely condition, good scrap. and very welcome on a very tough day. So slipping back, got the fish still feeding out there. Hopefully have a few more this afternoon. Well, I just put the first one back, put the rod back out, and no more than a couple of minutes it was away again. A bit of a bigger fish this time, it's a mirror, probably just in the double figures. And another great scrap, and they fought so hard down the margin this one. It's determined to get into the roots, but I managed to keep it out. So there we go, a bit bigger than the first one. And that's one common, one mirror, both absolutely nailed with a bolt machine. I've just been sat back and leaving the rod out there, and just hearing the bail arm splashing, the bait runner just whizzing into life. Sure enough, another one on the end. Get this one back because they are feeding properly now. Hopefully there's going to be a lot more to come. So as I just said, 3 casts and 3 fish. They seem to be feeding a lot more confidently now. I'm just up to try and feed the birds off again. But another little common, and I think it's one that Ben refers to as a cricket bat common because of the shape. Little torpedo, and absolutely nailed the bait once again, and gave me a good old run around. Lovely, 3 fish in the space of about half an hour. So I'm going to stick this one back and get the rod straight back out. Gotta love crusty sleeves in the summer. Lovely. Ooh. Every fish I've hooked so far has kited around to the left, and there's some nasty roots down in this margin. And unfortunately that last one got straight into it, and I applied pressure, held the pressure, and it was still banging, hook link snapped. It was going to happen. So unfortunately I lost that one, but the fish is still feeding pretty confidently out there. I'm going to whack the bait back out and hopefully have another one. That would have been 4 in 4 casts, but unfortunately it lost it. So let's see if we can get 5 out of 4. 4 out of 5. Oh, that one wrong. There we go, it's been quite a while since my last fish, but this one absolutely nailed it. I just changed lenses to try and get a take on camera from out there, and I managed to. And this one had it. Biggest one of the day, I'd probably say 13 poundish. Unfortunately its mouth is pretty damaged, so I put a little bit of carp care on it, but it's kind of, its history has not been kind to him. So we'll slip this one back after putting a little bit of stuff on its lip, and get the rod back out because they're still feeding out there. They have proper come on the feed this afternoon. But still nice to get banner on. This thing fought like a beast as well. They all like to go down these margins. I'm not losing another one in them roots. I'm sorry. Here we go, fish number 5. I let the float drift round really far round because some fish had been feeding on biscuits that had drifted round. So I left it and left it and left it. And this one, sure enough, nailed it. Probably 12 pound again, I'd say, 12, 13. Tried getting me in the left margin roots once again, but went on some almighty runs as well. I got that all on the GoPro. And but unfortunately the mouth wasn't brilliant, but some of the scales done by its tail, absolutely beautiful, really speckly starburst. I don't know if it's the same on that side. Yeah, it is. And then single scale right in the middle, so quite distinctive. But a lovely fish. And this session's starting to really heat up. It's really slow this morning, it's pretty cold, but as it's got warmer, the fish are just on the feed now, and they still are out there, so slipping back and have a few more. Well, as we're coming towards the end of the session, I thought I'd talk you through the method I use for surface fishing. It's fairly standard practice, but for those of you that don't know, I thought I'd just talk you through it. As you already know, the rod, reel and sort of hook link and surface controller setup I'm already using. But when it comes to casting out, where I've been feeding the fish and getting the feed in has been mid-water. And instead of casting directly to where they are, where I spook them, I've been casting just beyond. And feathering it down, and just before it hits the water, stopping in line. That kicks the hook link away from the surface controller and makes it land a little bit softer, so you know that everything's out straight. Then I wind it back into where the fish are feeding. Obviously if there's someone fishing opposite you can't do that, but luckily today I've had quite a lot of open water to myself. Once I've wound it back into where the fish are, I've been putting out a couple of catapults right on the spot of where the bait is. I'm putting the rod down, flicking the bait runner on and just waiting. The method I'm using today with the bolt machine, it does just hook them up as soon as they take it, and that's what I've been using today. And once I've got the fish in the net, I then quickly put a few more catapults out, probably about 4 or 5, depending on the size of your catapult, just to keep the fish interested, because what you don't want to do is lose the fish that are feeding there. So I put out quite a lot of bait to keep them interested while I deal with the fish on the bank and film it, put the fish back in the water, get the rod out and repeat the whole process over again. So that's what I've been doing all day, and it's proven pretty productive. So I'm going to be carrying on for about another hour or so and then heading on. The batteries are almost dead. I've been rinsing my cameras today, so I hope you've enjoyed this video, but maybe there's one more fish to come, who knows. And there we go, fish number 6. Once again I was just fiddling around with the camera, getting another angle, and I heard a thrash on the surface and the whiz of the bait runner, and here he is, fish number 6, another bristling up little common who gave me the run around, but isn't quite done even when he's on the bank. But I've had a thoroughly enjoyable day. Maybe chance of 1, maybe 2 more fish, but I'm gonna have to head on fairly soon because I'm playing football tonight and I stink already. So let's get him back.
Away. Oh, let's strike it.
There we go, the very last fish of the day, fish number 7. I've had a proper enjoyable day, and I was just about to turn the camera on to blog at the very end of the session saying, that's it, I gotta go now, and it whizzed away, absolutely screamed off. So I'm happy to have had 7 fish, all off the top. The bottom rod has done absolutely nothing all day, so I could have just come with 1 rod, or even come mid-morning and started, so I'm happy with that. And I might be out fishing again tomorrow for some more surface fishing action. But either way, I've had a great day. I'm gonna slip this one back, go home, have a nice cold cider, hot bath. Oh, I've got football actually. So I'm not even finished yet for the day. My back is in ruins, my tight hamstrings are killing, but I've had a good taste fishing. This is what we do it for. Let's slip it back. Off he swims. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed my day. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit like on the video if you enjoyed it, and find me on Facebook and Instagram at Nuffinbutfishing. Until next time, cheers for watching, and I'll see you then.